Alright guys, welcome back to a new video on my channel. It's been like a year that I haven't uploaded. I'm just kidding. It's been like a month that I haven't uploaded any videos, but we're back, man. I've been extremely busy this month, so hopefully you guys don't get mad at me. But to make up for the time lost, I will do a full breakdown of all the 3 weeks that I spent without uploading videos. Alright, so we're gonna start from June 23 or the 23rd of June until last week, to Friday of last week. All right, of course this week is still in progress, so I still have to wait until like the weekend until we finish so I can provide you guys a breakdown. But I'm going to be breaking down all the trades that I took during these 3 weeks that I didn't upload any videos. So as always, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and don't forget that if you want to take these trades daily with me, you have the link in the description to join the Discord. So let's get started with June 23rd. All right. So this day I took a demand on SPX, and again I'm going to be looking a lot at this screen right here because I have my Discord, my full Discord, and I'm seeing all the signals that I provided for these 3 weeks. So that way I can be able to make the video and not forget about all the setups. All right. So the 23rd, I had ES demand, which is this one that you guys can see on the screen. We got in at the break of the candle right there. EMAs weren't looking the best, especially because the 200 was a little bit flat, but the rejection at the zone was perfect. No candles closing, nothing at all. And then we got in, and then as soon as this candle it started pushing up, it almost went to TP. You guys can see this, which was a shame. But when you guys see the perspective on this trade, it started pushing up. It didn't close past this high. So what it did, it created a double top setup. I always tell you guys, whenever we create a double top, most likely we're gonna come back down to the starting point of the first leg. And same thing when we have a double bottom, most likely we're going to come back to the starting point right here. So what was the starting point on this setup? All right, we started right here. We went up the first leg, neckline, we can say second top over here, so that makes the double top, and then back to the starting point right here. So what will that mean? That means that we are going to get stopped out. So it also became a liquidity graph. If you guys put this high, this was a liquidity graph right there. So yeah, we started pushing up, but as soon as I saw this candle starting to come back down with a lot of volume, I got out of break even, and that was on June 23rd, which was a Monday for that week. All right. So now on the 24th, this is what I took on the 24th of June. Let me go back a little bit to the 24th. Okay, so the 24th we took a gold supply. All right, so you guys can see that it was literally super good. We got a 1 to 2. I'm seeing it right here on the chat. A 1 to 2 on gold. All right, we left runners because we had a break even from Monday, so I was trying to make a little bit more money on Tuesday on this trade on gold. So beautiful setup again. Break of structure over here. So we broke the structure right here with this push. We left a high probability demand. EMA is looking good, everything lining up. We're clearly trending because all EMAs are aiming to the downside. We came back to the supply, no candles closing inside. Use a good rejection, also rejecting the 13 EMA. Then I just got in at the break of the candle, and boom, we got a 1 to 2 on this trade, and then I ended up closing my runner right here. I secured some positions at a 1 to 1, and then ended up closing my full position right here, the remaining that I have. So perfect day on Tuesday, and finally gold coming through because gold hasn't been good for me. And you guys are going to see that for the next couple of weeks, like the 2 weeks after this trade, it was literally almost ES only. All right, because ES has been the pair that has been the most consistent for me lately. All right, so that was on Tuesday for gold. Now on the 26th, which is Thursday, we didn't trade on Wednesday. On Thursday, I gave it a try to this liquidity graph on ES, all right, which we ended up losing. I ended up losing. The trade ended up winning. All right, I'm going to explain how right here. So we had these equal lows right here. We see how we grabbed the liquidity that was sitting on these lows. We grabbed it right here. Never close below the previous low right there, the lowest point. We never closed below it. We started coming back up. I got in at the break of the candle. Now what happens? This is at 8:40, 8:35. All right, so this at 8:30 was news. I know news like to do this stuff, but news left a supply right here, a high probability supply. So what happened is, whenever we came back to the supply, I saw that we had a big rejection. All right, and then it started to come back down here with this red candle in the middle right there. So as soon as I saw that, I got a little bit concerned and I got out of the trade. I didn't want to, get caught in this supply and then a reversal happening, even though we're bullish overall. But then maybe we wanted to have a pullback or a reversal right here. I didn't want to get caught on this type of setup, especially coming from a 1 to 2 RR win on gold. So I just got out of break even right there on this trade. But eventually the trade ended up winning. You guys can see just consolidated. It never hit stop loss, which will have been sitting right here, and then boom, TP hit right here. It would have been a winner, but sometimes cutting losses, stuff like this is going to happen. All right, so I got a break even. Now coming into the next day, 627, I actually got a trade on silver. This is the only trade that you're going to see on silver in this video, but it happened on the 27th, which was that Friday, and this was the second win of the week. All right, it was this supply right here. All right, and then actually I'm playing. This supply right here was on the silver on futures. It was a high probability. So that right there, that candle is a green candle on the silver's futures. So we had a rejection right there. Then the break of the candle was right here. This red candle breaking the previous green candle. We got in right there. Stop loss goes above, and then 1-to-1 hit. Boom, done for the week. So we had a 1-to-2 win on gold, and then we had 2 break evens on SPX and a win on silver. So this week it went 2-0 for me. Good week. All right, now coming into the next week, all right, which we didn't trade on Monday. That week we didn't trade on Monday. We started on Tuesday. I actually have stopped trading on Mondays a little bit, or I have been a little bit more patient on Mondays, and it has been a little bit better for me. So we didn't trade on Monday. We just traded on Tuesday the following week. We got this demand on SPX, rejection, perfect, no candles closing inside. We got in at the break of the candle right there, and then we got it out exactly at a 1-to-1. You guys see this kind of stuff. Many people ask me, why are you always aiming for a 1-to-1? Because you're not always going to get a 1-to-5. All right, what you can do is get out a 1-to-1 50% of your position or 75% of your position, and try to leave the other 50% or 25% if you close 75%. Try to leave that as a runner. All right, and then put your stop loss at break even. If it runs, great, you got more money. If it comes back to break even, you don't lose money. So you're trying to maximize your winnage, but just be aware that sometimes you're just going to get a 1-to-1 and that's it. You're not always going to get a 1-to-5. So be aware of that. But this case, Tuesday winner. All right, 1-to-1 hit. Now this is the starting of the week, so it was great. All right, it was great this day. Now let's go to the next day, which is the 2nd. All right, July 2nd. This is Wednesday. We got in for a supply on SPX, which was a little bit low. That was only the only concerning part. We got in right here at the break of the candle, and was a fake out, which it happened. All right, so this one I let me see. Okay, this one I didn't cut the loss early, so it was a full loss over here on this one. So we are break even for the week at this point. All right, and then the other trade was the 3rd, July 3rd. So on Thursday right here, this is the trade that made my week, because we had a big winner over here. I had a 1-to-3 risk to reward ratio on this trade, and honestly it could have even been more. Look at all this, bro. Like, we literally bought at the perfect time, and it would have been like a 1-to-29 if we would have waited until like 12:40 p.m. But of course we're scalpers, so we're not looking for that 1-to-29. We're not swing traders. So but it could have been a crazy trade. So what is it? Break of structure right here with this high, came back to the zone. All right, rejections, break of candles, simple as that. We got in, EMAs were looking good. All right, 50 in the middle, 13 at the top, 200 at the bottom, all aiming to the upside, and we got a 1-to-3 on this trade. This was the trade that literally made the week. So this was on Thursday, so I already knew that by Friday I either wasn't trading or I wasn't going to get in a trade that was trash or anything like that. I wasn't going to force any setups. So yeah, I covered my loss on this trade, and I ended up making more money for the week. All right, before this trade we was break even, we was 1-1, and then after this trade we literally, it's like if we would have won 3 trades in a row and without losses. So that's what happened on this trade. Crazy, crazy, trade here. All right, and then what happened is I didn't trade on Friday, so I already knew I either wasn't going to trade or I was going to be a little bit or super patient on Friday or go low on risk, but I decided to not trade on Friday. So then we come back next week. Already second week profitable. All right, perfect week. So we come back on July 4th. Oh, sorry, the Friday I also didn't trade because it was a bank holiday in US. So it was July 4th. I didn't want to trade anything, even though it looks like we had some volume. Oh, that was on Sunday. But yeah, the price action wasn't that bad during the holiday. I didn't trade. All right. Monday, no trade for me. As I said, I've been staying away a little bit from Mondays. And then Tuesday, July 8th, all right, we took a 13 EMA breakout, which I'm not going to go in depth on how this works. You guys can follow Doyle for that and join his Discord. But I was giving it a try. I am not in Doyle's Discord, so I haven't traded this in a long time or seen someone trade it. But I have seen him on Instagram, so posting results, and it has been working. So I just wanted to give it a try. Immediate loss, bro. Immediate loss. I swear to God, man. Every time that I try something else that is not supply and demand, I end up cooking myself. So, but doesn't matter. All right. This day I was all up for a 13 EMA. Didn't get it on SPX, lost. So I gave it a chance to gold. All right. And look at what happened, guys. This is what happened on the 8th, Tuesday, July 8th. Look at what happened, y'all. We got in right here. What did I say? Okay, this is going to be like a double top formation. Starting point is right here, 13 EMA breakout. We're coming back to this level right here, the starting leg, all right, the beginning of the leg. We got in. Stop loss goes above that red candle, which was the one that broke below the 13 EMA. It started coming back up, stopped us out to immediately do this, bro. To go all the way down here for like a 1 to 15. It is crazy. It was crazy. In this trade, I did get out early. I got out on this candle as soon as it closed above the 13 EMA once again. This was my second trade of the day. So I went I didn't go heavy on risk. I actually lowered my risk on this trade because it was the second trade of the day, and I also cut my loss early. So this was a very small loss. I didn't want to get a second trade and also lose 1%. So it was a very small loss. But this is ridiculous because even the people on the Discord that took the trade and still waited for the stop loss to be hit, it got hit to then do all this. It was crazily bad. All right, but past that day, all right, we didn't trade. This was Tuesday. We didn't trade on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, once again, SPX, man. I've been saying that SPX, man, it has been more consistent on supply and demand than gold. Gold has been trash this year. Gold has really been trash. But if you trade SPX, you're definitely eating, all right? So on Thursday, we got on this SPX setup, kind of late in the day, but good. All EMAs lining up, all right? High probability demand, no candles closing inside. We got in at the break of the candle right there and started pushing to the upside, and we got like a 1 to 1 point. I'm not gonna say I closed at the top, but it was like a 1 to 1.2, something like that. So like probably like around here. So probably around here. Not exactly at the top, but yeah, at least it was a little bit more than a 1 to 1. So I cover my loss. Remember how I said that my second position was a small position, so it was a small loss. I covered both of my losses from Tuesday with this trade. And then, okay, this was on the 10. On the 11, we got a crazy trade once again. But this time, it was gold, man. It was gold coming through. So we finished a week with gold. Actually, this is crazy because I've been talking trash about gold, and now gold was the one that saved the week, right? So on Friday, on the 11th, which was the last day of the week. Remember, I already covered my loss, so I'm break even for the week. I got a 1 to 2 on gold. Like a little bit more than a 1 to 2 on this crazy 13 EMA breakout. So it worked for me this time. It didn't work twice on Tuesday, but then on Friday it came true. All right, I got in right here at 10:20, and then boom, immediately went to the upside, and I got like a 1 to 2.5, give or take, in that area. Every time I say like 1 to 2.5, it might be like a 1 to 2.4 or 1 to 2.6. I don't know the exact number, but I'm just putting it in the range, all right? So it could have been more. It went for like a 1 to 4.3, but I'm good with my 1 to 2.5. I already made my 2% for the week, or a little bit more than 2%, and yeah, 3 consecutive weeks making money, man. And you could have also been making money if you was on the Discord. I keep telling people, man, if you're not making money trading, if you want to make money and you also want to learn or at least join, and see what types of setup I'm taking, why I'm liking this setup and I'm not liking the other setup, why I'm taking this over this, you can join the Discord, and I guarantee you, you will learn a lot, and you will also be making money at the same time. So with that being said, I will end this video over here. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I know this is probably a little bit longer than usual, but keep in mind we're breaking down 3 full weeks over here. So as always, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button. The Discord link will be in the description. My Instagram will also be in the description. Make sure to follow me, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.